Hello everyone and welcome to The Opinion Piece, the show where I give my unfiltered, unscripted opinions on a gaming related topic. Today's topic, the lightning round, which is going to be a little bit more of an alternative take on how I do things here, where instead of focusing on one topic, I'm going to summarize several. Due to my sort of missing in action kind of thing for the last couple of months, there have been a handful of topics that I wanted to say something about but could not. So now I'm going to use this as a sort of use this as an opportunity to basically take those select topics and basically summarize them in a reasonable time frame. I have here in my hand a written list of those topics. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run through them, basically give a straightforward summary of my thoughts on each of them, and that'll be that. I'm going to kind of self-time myself here, not actually, and just try to do this in a very sort of contained way. So everybody good? We good? Awesome. All right, here we go. All right, kicking this off, we have E3 2018. It was okay. E3 2018 was okay. I try not to get my hopes up anymore with these kinds of events because, it's the formula is always going to kind of be the same. And for me, it's going to be like, oh, you're going to get to see some announcements for new games that you either saw coming or completely didn't expect. You're going to get more information on games you already know about. And then you're going to get that one or two announcements that's going to be like, this is all your brain is thinking about. And that's that. I really didn't have that announcement, didn't really have those announcements. Well, the biggest reason because I didn't get the announcement, once again, coming on 5 years now, I didn't get the one announcement that I didn't want, and that was a new Splinter Cell. So I got to wait for another year for that. Thank goodness Eves keeps teasing that a new project is in the works to sort of reignite my hopes and dreams. But the only real show stealers for me were Resident Evil 2 Remake and Devil May Cry 5. Two games I honestly did not think were going to be happening, but when I saw those trailers, it took me out of my seat, and I am now really excited for them next year. But overall, E3 2018, it was okay, but better luck next year. Up next, we have Capcom has more plans for remakes. Going back to Capcom in a way, I'm kind of really glad about this, that they're kind of taking sort of a new approach to the business model. I understand that a lot of people might be fatigued by the whole, remaster, remake phenomenon going on with the current generation of systems, and Capcom definitely is one of the, biggest contributors to this whole spectacle. But the reasoning behind this is, not so much to like, oh, we're gonna resell you these older games with updates for the sake of profit. For them, it's kind of just more like an opportunity to kind of not only bring these older games to hopefully like a new audience, but also it's kind of just for them, it's like a change up between like, oh, well, we put a lot of time and effort into sequels for our primary franchises. We can put these out on the market to sort of kind of whet appetites, if you will. Just kind of keep people who like these certain series, entertained, amused over for a while they work on the bigger stuff. And then in the case of remakes, it gives them the opportunity to take older games and put a new spin on them. If you look at the Resident Evil 2 remake, for example, it's not really a remake in the conventional sense because they're essentially rebuilding the entire game from the ground up with, using the original game as a sort of outline, but are incorporating so many new ideas that it's a completely different game that old fans can be nostalgic over and newcomers can kind of have get like a new fresh horror experience with, if you will. So I like that they're doing this. I like their kind of mindset and approach to it, and I look forward to where they go with that in the near future. Next, we have a Halo TV series. I'll believe it when I see it. It's one of those things where, with the video game adaptations, they either get announced and get stuck in development hell, or they happen and they're very lukewarm products. And as someone who loves film and loves video game movies for what they are, I try to keep a glass half full and just keep an open mind and enjoy something for what I know it's going to be, especially if it's from a franchise that I happen to be a fan of. But Halo doesn't exactly have the best track record with getting projects off the ground or being that good in this media. So show me more and I might have a little bit more faith in this. Simple as that. Next, we have the IGN plagiarism scandal, pardon me. Now, I'm pretty sure everyone and their mother who cares about video games knows about this. A journalist, former journalist for IGN, Philip, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name, Basically got caught for plagiarizing someone else's review for a game, all well, pretty much note for note. Got caught, got fired, and just became this whole fiasco that's still kind of burning just a little bit, because the guy then later got caught for plagiarizing a bunch of other shit, and is only further, you know, making an ass out of himself and tarnishing whatever, you know, negative points of a career he has left, and basically digging his grave even deeper. Pretty much this whole thing, it's done, it's over. The lesson here is don't plagiarize, and, you know, props to the other affected parties who, you know, had a pretty good head about this and handled it pretty well. But the moral of the story here is don't plagiarize, because once you get caught, it'll probably ruin you for life. So keep it original and stand by your work by not taking any, and don't take, you know, others. So yeah. Moving on, we have the Smash Brothers Direct. My thoughts on that are simple as Smash Brothers Ultimate still looks like a great game. It's always great to get more information about that kind of stuff, and now it's stirring up a huge, you know, storm of people just talking about, you know, that's kind of like Smash Brothers. It's like this big celebration where people just talk to high heaven about, you know, every little thing that's going into the game and what we can expect from it and what they're looking forward to, everything. And that's always, it's like a long running holiday, if you will, just the hype and, you know, anticipation for the game. But the reason I'm talking about it is because I'm satisfied with what we got with the information there, but it kind of ties into a bigger thing of Nintendo needs to sort of stop wasting directs on these sort of just, you know, on these singular topics, if you will. I think they should be using them they should be kind of using the Direct. Like the Nintendo Direct is basically their way of controlling the information and how announcements and information, you know, get out to the public regarding their games and what they're doing. And the Nintendo Switch is in its second year. It's still doing really well. All kinds of new games are coming out for it. But I feel like they should still be, you know, using this as an opportunity to tell us more about these things, rather than just, you know, isolate and focus on one big game that's coming out at the end of this year, when they could use it as a chance to focus on the little things like, hey, what new games, big and small, can we look forward to, whether they be more information about games we know about, new announcements, or anything in between. Like, I would love to know more about games that I could get on the Switch that I can, you know, play, that could maybe expand my horizons and introduce me to new franchises or new genres that I normally wouldn't look too closely into. But, you know, considering how much I love the Switch, how much I love that as a platform, I'd be willing to give it a try. So Nintendo, like, just do with that what you will. That's all I really have to say about that. Up next, I have the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. I don't really care about this. Let me kind of pose it up with this. Does anybody still care about or keeping tabs on the Detective Pikachu movie? I'm just going to go out on a limb and assume the widespread answer is no. Because it doesn't really, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. It's kind of one of like, show me a trailer or show me some pictures and I will, you know, make an observation based on that and kind of decide like, oh, maybe I'll go see the movie, maybe I won't, who knows. But with Sonic the Hedgehog, it's kind of the same thing. We're like, oh yeah, it's going to be this big project. We're going to have all these actors in it. It's going to be this combination of live action and CG and like, cool, but kind of show me what's going for this, and I'll make an observation based on that. But the big thing is I'm probably not going to see it because I'm not a huge Sonic the Hedgehog fan, and I don't know, it's happening and I don't really care that much. Whatever. Next we have the Doom Eternal gameplay reveal. This is one of my more favorite things that I wanted to talk about, because I absolutely love Doom 2016. That was one of my favorite games of that year, and probably one of my favorite shooters of all time. So when a sequel got announced, when the sequel was announced at E3, I got hyped. I got excited. Thought like, okay, this is actually gonna be pretty cool. This is one of the standout announcements of that event. So when they confirmed that they were going to be doing a gameplay reveal at QuakeCon, I got, all right, I'm gonna be cool. Like, I can just like, all right, I'm looking forward to that. I'm gonna just be cool. Just gonna wait. And then the footage went up, and I just sat there and just like, I think maybe a couple tears came to my eye because, man, that looked beautiful. That is another excellent example of how you take a sequel and do it right, raising the stakes, adding all kinds of cool new features, just boosting it up and making it something really cool looking. So I'm looking forward to, I really, 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 really am looking forward to seeing more about Doom Eternal, and I definitely can't wait to play it whenever it's coming. I think it's coming out next year. I can't remember. I want to see more of it. It looks awesome. Up next, we have the Spyro Reignited Trilogy delay. So previously, what I had written down for this was I was going to talk about the the sort of kind of release model situation, but I'm kind of tying this into the whole delay situation because as of recording this, the game like a day or two ago got delayed to mid-November. And the reason why they're doing this is because the developers and Activision, got wise and realized their mistake, because prior to that, they said that it's been confirmed that the game would be releasing with the first game on the disc and the other two would have to be downloaded, which is kind of a huge no-no and rubbed a whole lot of people the wrong way, myself included, but to a lesser extent because I wasn't caring that much. I think my biggest problem with that is considering, today's technology, it should not be that difficult to take 3 games from the late 90s, give them a facelift in terms of their graphics. I mean, if you've seen the game, it looks absolutely beautiful. It's kind of like what you imagine the game would look like with those rose-colored glasses if you played the originals, if you get my meaning. But give them basically a facelift and, add in a bunch of some new components and everything like that. They're not going to take up a whole lot of space. So why would you have me why would you want to release it where if I pay my $40, I only get the first game on the disc and I have to download the other 2 online? That's going to open up a can of worms of circumstances that's just going to make it, rough on my day. Like, what if I have crappy internet, or what if I don't have internet? Then that's just going to make things shit. Fortunately, I have decent internet, so that's not a problem. But hypothetically, what if I was a person that, was kind of in a shit situation where I really wanted to play this game, but couldn't because of certain circumstances stacking against me? So they blatantly fucked up but realized their mistake and are taking it back just a little bit to hopefully fix this in the right way so that when it does come out, it's just we can play all 3 games from the get-go and enjoy it from there. Hopefully. And then last but not least, this was kind of a last addition to my list, was the Life is Strange 2 reveal. I originally not really a whole lot to say about this. I'm just kind of putting this in there. I originally was going to talk about the teaser, but the announcement happened today as of recording. And I'm hyped. Life is Strange is one of my favorite games of all time, and arguably my favorite game of 2015. And I'm excited for the sequel. I'm glad that it's everything that it's nothing I could have predicted. I think one of the biggest things that I have a problem with is when a sequel is predictable. But in this case, it's set in the same universe, same world and everything, but it's completely different time and place, 2 completely different new characters. And it's only we only have a teaser and a blog post to go off of, but that's enough to convince me that yes, this is, going to be the same Life is Strange goodness that I enjoy, just, different stuff going on. And I'm looking forward to it. It looks absolutely wonderful. So I'm looking forward to playing the complete edition of the game whenever that gets released, because I don't play because much like a television show, I don't experience it by the episode and wait for the next one. I play that shit I experience that stuff at least in one sitting, or at least at my convenience, because that's just how I do things. So I will be looking forward to the complete edition of that game whenever that gets released. But I'm definitely looking forward to it. But I'm kidding aside, I'm looking forward to it. And, that's the list. Those are the things that I wanted to talk about. And yeah, that's that. Hopefully that was done in a reasonable amount of time. I'll have to check it in editing. But anyway, those are my thoughts on those various topics. What are yours? Don't be afraid to share those in the comments. Are you also glad that the opinion piece is back? I am sure as hell glad that I'm getting to do this again. There's so much other stuff that I'd love to talk about, past tense, and then, whatever happens in the news happens, and I'll definitely sit down and talk about it, but I'm just glad to be doing this stuff again. So yeah, glad to be back. So that was that. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks very much for watching, and take care. It's a reimagining. As much as I love the idea of taking something classic and revamping it with today's technology, this is not one of those games. I know many consider RE2 to be the best in the series. Not